In the name of Christ who calls us, amen.
Amen.
So today we celebrate the feast of Francis. His actual feast day is the 4th of October, but it's been our congregation's habit for the last few years to celebrate on the day closest to that feast. Though I did go ahead and leave the readings that were already appointed for the day, and they're kind of a striking contrast to the idea of Francis. Here is this harsh story told against the religious leaders of the day who had been poor stewards of the kingdom of God. Jesus, as usual, reserves his harshest, nastiest words for folks, not for the folks who behave shamefully in an outward way, but for those who imagine that they are righteous and use that power over others. St. Francis was a different sort of religious leader. He was known for his gospel values. He, in his early life, was poor and simple, but towards the ends of his life, though he remained poor and simple, he was also extremely powerful. He was the head of a large order and an extremely popular religious figure, and if the popes didn't respect his message, they at least respected his popularity. And yet, Francis never used this to his own selfish advantage, never lost his vision of poverty and simplicity. The vineyard metaphor, perhaps on St. Francis' Day, invites us to look at things a little differently. When I put those two ideas together, it makes me think about our own environmental stewardship. If we think of ourselves as the tenants of God's good vineyard, of this beautiful planet, how are we doing? How are we doing as tenants? Have we likewise made that fundamental error that the tenants in this story make, where they presume to own what is not theirs? When you think about it, it's bizarre. I mean, we do it for the sake of order, I understand, but to think of owning the land, anything that dies can't own the land. I mean, the land goes on, or owning the seas, or having boundaries. I mean, we have all these fictions that we lay on top of the planet that make us feel like it belongs to us. In the beginning, the Genesis story tells that Adam and Eve were made caregivers of the garden. There is an acknowledgement, even in those early ancient stories, that humans do have a certain power over creation. And at the same time, that all of creation is God's creation, and we are stewards. And danger happens when we take ownership and exploit that which was given us to steward. I've been enjoying reading from Thomas Berry lately, and I want to share a couple of quotes from him. He says, "A use relationship with the natural world is the deepest perversity that humans are capable of." You might argue with that statement, but it's certainly provocative. A use relationship with the natural world is deep perversity. The worst thing, he says, that one human being can say to another is, "You used me." Isn't that right? You know, when we feel used by a friend or a loved one, it is so painful. Barry goes on to say, "Nature could tell us, 'You used me.' I'm not here to be used primarily. I'm here to bestow blessedness, to bestow beauty, to bestow joy and healing, to communicate a sense of the divine. I will serve you. I will heal you. I will shelter you. I will feed you. But don't approach me simply from the standpoint of use. Francis was well ahead of his time. Well, not ahead of his time. There have always been thinkers like this, but rare and few. Francis did not approach the earth as something to be used, but talked about the sun as his brother and the moon as his sister, the world as his family, the world as revelation of the divine. And in the same way that we are members of Christ's body, Francis saw all of creation as part of God's family, one holy family. From this point of view, our abuse of creation is kind of like an illness. I mean, how crazy to use our sisters, our brothers, our mother or our father. There's a kind of alienation in that is tragic. We become separated from who we are when we treat our family in this way. We become soul sick. Thomas Berry again says, "The outer world is necessary for the inner world." We have gotten so used in our culture to seeing nature as a thing outside ourselves and spirituality as a thing inside ourselves. And he says no. They are not two worlds, but a single world with two aspects, the outer and the inner. If we don't have certain outer experiences, we don't have certain inner experiences, or at least we don't have them in a profound way. We need the sun, the moon, the stars, the rivers and the mountains, the trees, the flowers, the birds, the song of the birds, the fish of the sea, to evoke a world of mystery, to evoke the sacred. He's saying it is absolutely necessary to encounter creation, to evoke the sacred. It gives us a sense of awe. This is a response to the cosmic liturgy, since the universe itself is a sacred liturgy. Okay, here's my favorite line. Humans become religious by joining the religion of the universe. So, instead of us being the center of the universe, we recognize that the universe is vast, and we're part of it. And if we are to be religious, we need to recognize that truth and celebrate our tiny little part in the vastness of God's creation. Human beings become religious by joining the religion of the universe. Until we awaken to that reality, we're missing a big part of what it means to be human. We are in hubris. We are in alienation. He says, apart from that awareness, our souls shrivel and our imaginations are dull. This is that soul sickness. Francis, on the other hand, is a joyful beacon of someone with a fully awakened imagination. His passion and joy and humor and vigorous life still is with us after all these centuries. He still is that image of joyous, passionate relationship, an icon for us of what we can be when we take our part in this cosmic liturgy. He invites us to address our soul sickness. He invites us to be healed and made whole. and to bravely find a new way to be on the planet. To be embodied spirits, temples of the Holy Spirit, not imagining that spirit and body are separate, but knowing them to be one. He invites us to welcome simplicity. Francis was in love with poverty. She was his girlfriend. He talked about Lady Poverty, his companion and partner. He didn't come back that way. But he saw it as a path to knowing God. I know, but I'll go downstairs. And Francis talked to us about justice, about understanding that all people are God's people, that there is no hierarchy, there are no privileged ones before God, but that every child of God and every part of creation, no matter how humble, is part of this great liturgy. So I'm going to do a short commercial for Green Faith. We've been talking a little bit, you may have heard, but there's some folks in the congregation that are talking about engaging the whole congregation in a program called Green Faith, and it's something we have to decide to do as a vestry and as a body. But it's a program that actually lasts for a couple of years, and it's holistic in this same way, in this Franciscan way, of embodying the Spirit, of engaging worship and understanding of creation's beauty, of welcoming simplicity, teaching values of reducing our carbon footprint in the building and in our homes, and also tuning into the larger issues of justice, to the ways in which our consumption impacts the whole planet, impacts other people in other places, to the ways in which we're connected to one another economically, and our use or abuse of the environment impacts others. I want to end with one more quote from Thomas Berry. One of the cherished notions, I think, that comes along with being stuck in these little bodies of ours is that we are the centers of the universe. And it's really hard not to think of ourselves as the pinnacle of creation. But a more Franciscan way of looking at the world would invite us not to see ourselves necessarily as the apex or the pinnacle, but to respect our part in the larger picture. So when Barry was asked, what is the contribution that humans make to the universe? He says, when it comes to flying, the birds are the best. When it comes to swimming, the fish are the best. When it comes to reflexive thinking, humans are the best. What is the contribution that humans make to the universe? We enable the universe to reflect on itself, and in a sense, to smile at and enjoy itself. While the universe activates itself in each part of the universe, the special attribute of the human is to enable the universe to reflect on itself with a special mode of intelligible self-awareness, to enjoy itself and to celebrate itself in the light of the numinous mystery that is expressed in everything. So to take it just a tiny step farther, we are gifted to know the gift of creation, to know God in creation, to recognize and praise God in creation, and to live lives in harmony with that deep awareness. So today I have invited some members of the congregation to bring symbols of creation. You know, we have symbols of creation with us every Sunday. We have the candles on the altar. We have the water that we pour in the basin. We have the wine that is the fruit of the earth. We even have these all this wonderful wood around us that reminds us that we are tree people here in the Northwest. But today, I thought it would be a good thing to present some of these symbols at the altar so that we could consciously and intentionally invite all of creation into our celebration today and join with all of creation in worshiping our God. So if you are one of those folks that I've invited to bring stuff, why don't you come on forward here, just like we do for the birthday prayers.
Michael, are you set?
Let's have the fire first. Celebration of light and energy, heat, of sun and moon and stars. Let's give it that star. Take it. And earth?
Compost.
Compost.
It's better than earth.
Bring it on up. Perfect compost. Is it homemade living compost? Oh yeah. And water. We say in godly play, not just water, but all the water that ever was. The big water that baptizes us and gives us life. Green growing things. What have you got? Scented geraniums from Margaret's garden.
This is 4-week-old butterscotch. She's a buff-organ chick.
She's a buff-organ chick, and we're stretching our vestry rules about not having animals in the church. Let us pray. Only when we give